These are things that we can learn from a dog, written by Joy Norquist from Chicken Soup for the Pet Lover's Soul. Things we can learn from a dog. Never pass up the opportunity to go for a joyride. Allow the experience of fresh air and the wind in your face to be pure ecstasy. When loved ones come home, always run to greet them. When it's in your best interest, always practice obedience. Let others know when they've invaded your territory. Take naps and always stretch before rising. Run, romp, and play daily. Eat with gusto and enthusiasm. Be loyal. Never pretend to be something you're not. If what you want lies buried, dig until you find it. When someone is having a bad day, be silent. Sit close by and nuzzle them gently. Delight in the simple joy of a long walk. Thrive on attention and let people touch you. Avoid biting when a simple growl will do. On hot days, drink lots of water and lie under a shady tree. When you're happy, dance around and wag your entire body. No matter how often you are criticized, don't buy into the guilt thing and pout. Run back and make friends.
Om. Some Zen Buddhist cat koans. What is the sound of one can opening? Door open, stay in. Door closed, go out. Roll in dirt, get clean. Find where paths cross, sit smack center. Eat and sleep, nothing sacred about the order. One coat of fur sheds everywhere. Steak and hamburger are the same, only the names are different.
Life lessons from lovebirds. This is from Vicki Leanne Aggie from Chicken Soup for the Pet Lover's Soul, and the previous one was from Alfred Bimbaum and Riku Kame, the Zen of Cats. But this one is Life Lessons from Lovebirds. If you spend too much time looking in the mirror, it's easy to lose your balance. Yeah. Always keep a pleasant look on your face, even if your cage needs cleaning. If your mate wants to share your perch with you, move over. The real treats in life usually come after you've cracked a few hulls. It takes two to snuggle. Sometimes your mate can see mites you didn't even know you had. Singing draws more affection than squawking. It is only when your feathers get ruffled that your true colors really show. Too many toys can be distracting. When you have love in your heart, everyone around you will find joy in your resonance, it says, but it should, presence. Oh, there should be a P in there, in your presence. That was a typo. Oh, and I have my homily now. In this year's Blessing of the Animals, this is the wisdom of animals, I invite you to think about the role of the animal sitting at your feet, or in a cage, bowl, or crate here today, or patiently waiting for you at home, our companion animals. How do our companion animals help us to become better people? What qualities can we learn from them? On a typical day, they teach us about taking pleasure in simple creature comforts, like an old shoe toy, or a warm bed, or a good meal. Even on their bad days, they can teach us about patience, mischief-making, and releasing expectations. On their worst day, they will ultimately teach us about saying goodbye with grace and compassion. First, I will show you a video about some amazing pets teaching their humans what fierce loyalty and bravery looks like. Then, For the following 5-ish minutes, we will pass the mic, or you can come up to the mic, and you can share brief anecdotes about how your pet has taught you a life lesson. Here's the video.
Number 10. In June 2015, Lexi, an 18-month-old black lab from the United Kingdom, became an instant sensation when he spontaneously jumped into action to save his master's life. 67-year-old Alan Spencer was choking on some food and collapsed on the floor, gasping for air. His dog, who apparently instinctively had a hunch about how to perform a canine version of the Heimlich maneuver, jumped on Spencer's back and made the piece of food pop out. Needless to say, Spencer was never as grateful to own a dog as he was that day. Man's best friend for sure. Number 9. Another great life-saving experience happened in Russia in 2014 when a 3-year-old toddler, Karina Chikatova, got lost in the forest for 11 days. Although this might sound like a Hansel and Gretel type story, it seems that as soon as the family realized that the girl was missing, a big search and rescue mission was set up. Unfortunately, hope was quickly lost when the search posse came up empty. Yet, out of the blue, a few days later, the little girl's puppy showed up on the family's doorstep and led rescuers straight back to the exact location where Karina had been lost. It truly is a miracle that the tyke didn't get devoured by some wild animal, but apparently experts say the girl no doubt survived the bitter cold at night by hugging her puppy. We can only imagine she was probably holding on to her pet as she would have hugged a plush toy, scared out of her pretty little mind. Number 8. Can you imagine a cat saving a human being from a dog attack? Well, that's exactly what happened in a small community in California, and Tara the cat became an overnight internet sensation worldwide when she saved 4-year-old little Jeremy from the jaws of a vicious dog, and the video of her rescue went viral. Luckily, Tara was on the job. She later became known as the Hero Cat. The feline superhero threw herself on the big dog and chased it away from her caretaker's son. People around Tara went a little crazy after her harrowing ordeal, bestowing multiple awards upon her, including the Blue Tiger Award, which is usually only given to military service dogs. The small California community where she lives even named an official holiday in her honor to show her how proud they are of her. Tara's response to all the hoopla has been limited to a modest meow. Number 7. In October 2007, little 17-month-old Charlotte Savivic was playing in her family's yard in Australia when the family dog, a Doberman Pinscher named Khan, began to snarl. People who are not familiar with the animal might have been worried it would harm such a small child. Khan was being a great babysitter. It was upset that a king brown snake, one of the world's most venomous reptiles, was slithering under the house and might get close to the toddler. Khan tried to nudge little Charlotte away, but when she wouldn't budge, he picked her up by her diaper and tossed her a few feet behind him. Sounds like something out of a cartoon, right? Well, it seems the movement may have startled the snake, which lunged and bit Khan on the paw. Thank goodness the dog was able to receive anti-venom medicine and made a full recovery. Way to go, Khan! Number 6. When Joe Stallnecker, a man who was prone to experience seizures, adopted his German Shepherd Buddy, the puppy was only 8 weeks old. Quickly, Stallnecker taught his new best friend to retrieve the phone when he started experiencing seizure symptoms. The idea was for Buddy to hit a speed dial button that would call 911 as soon as his master blacked out or was unable to make the call himself. Lo and behold, 10 months later, Buddy leapt into action when his owner became unconscious. He called the emergency line and began whimpering into the phone. EMTs arrived a few minutes later and brought an unconscious Stallnecker to the hospital, where he recovered fully a few days later. Stallnecker has been quoted as saying, "Buddy, well, he basically gives me my independence. He's my world. He's my best friend, no question. He's always there, and I just hope I can be as good to him as he's been to me." Now, not to knock Buddy's great achievement, but we must say we've come across a few of these amazing phone-dialing dogs who saved their owners' lives. Number 5. In 2009, 2-year-old Hannah Coos could have choked to death if it hadn't been for the family bird Willie, a Quaker parrot. Little Hannah's babysitter, Megan Howard, was in the bathroom when Willie started screaming bloody murder and flapping his wings hysterically. Then the talking bird started repeating, "Mama baby, mama baby," over and over again until she came out of the bathroom. That's when Megan saw that Hannah's face was turning blue. The babysitter quickly performed the Heimlich maneuver and saved the little girl. But she says Willie is the real hero. Believe it or not, the bird was later presented with the local Red Cross chapter's Animal Lifesaver Award. Let's hope that Willie got a few crackers out of the experience too, huh? Number 4. Carbon monoxide is known to be a dangerous silent killer. Kathy Kiesling and her family certainly know this to be true now. Thank goodness, when a gas-powered water pump began leaking the odorous fumes into the family home, Willie, their cat, began nudging their sleeping owners and making crazy meowing sounds like she was trying to scream. By the time Kathy woke up, she was already nauseous and dizzy from the carbon monoxide leak, and both her husband and son were unconscious. Thanks to Winnie, the carbon monoxide detector cat, Kathy was able to call 911 before anyone ended up dead. Number 3. We've heard of a few incredible stories about dogs who could use their powerful sense of smell to detect cancer or other illnesses, but 46-year-old Josie Conlon certainly must have been in shock when her 2-year-old collie Ted started crying, pawing, and nuzzling her chest. Apparently, the canine detective had sniffed a grade 3 tumor growing in her breast. Josie later said that she found Ted's behavior particularly peculiar because the British rescue dog was rarely affectionate with her, and when he placed his paw on her breast, she knew he wasn't trying to get frisky. She quickly realized something might be wrong. Fortunately, the cancer was detected early and the tumor was removed before it could spread to the rest of her body. Number 2. While a family was tobogganing in Fort Nelson, British Columbia, Canada, their lives became threatened by a pack of wolves who were about ready to attack the 3 children. The father was towing his kids uphill in an all-terrain vehicle while the mother waited at the top. Suddenly, Shadow, the family dog, a Rottweiler mix, intercepted the pack leader while the dad struggled to scare off the wolves with a shovel. The wolves did grab Shadow by the shoulder and left him with some bruises and bumps, but if it hadn't been for him and his growling at the wild pack, the father wouldn't have managed to chase the aggressive canines back into the woods. Number 1. Joanne Altsman was vacationing in Presque Isle, Pennsylvania, USA, with her housebroken Vietnamese pig, of all things. Luckily for her, the animal was brighter than it might look, because when poor Joanne went into cardiac arrest, her pig went into a superhero mode. When it saw what was going on, it cried for a moment, hoping for a reaction. Then it pushed the gate to the fence open and waited. Whenever a car would come by, it would approach the road and lay in front of the nearing vehicle. This went on for about 45 minutes before the pig managed to convince a motorist to stop and come to the home. When the man discovered Joanne was in distress, he called emergency services. The paramedics arrived quickly and saved Joanne's life. Thanks, Piggy.
Go. All right, so now, if anybody has anything they'd like to share about it, a time you've encountered a pet in the wild or your own pet, something you've learned from them, or one of these dramatic things, if you've got one. But anybody got something to share? Yes, all right. Is this live? I don't know. Good question. No, take this one. Okay. Turn around.
I want to grab some here. Excuse me.
Yes. Oh.
So this is my horse, Mac, and I got him as a birthday present when I turned 12, and he was the horse that I broke and taught to the saddle and helped us on our cattle ranch. When I went off to college, Mac got into the corn bin and foundered. That is generally not a treatable experience for a horse, and my father waited for me to come home on a weekend before he gave me this news. In the meantime, he stood the horse in mud, which is an old farmer's cure for foundering, but to no avail. The horse could not walk, and he needed to be put down. And I was raised a farm girl. I had to accept this as what would happen. But before my father could take the shotgun down and go do it, he waited for me to come home, and he asked me to go look at the horse and then come back in and tell him that it was okay to do what needed to be done. And I love that he waited and he let me make the decision. But when I came back into the house, having seen my horse, I was a wreck. This was my baby. And I cried and muttered and moaned and had such pain on my face that my dad said, I can't do it. I can't do it, I'll try one more thing. And so he had heard of a man who does acupuncture on horses. He called this vet. The vet came, he saw, he did his acupuncture, and my horse recovered. And I learned of my father's really deep compassion, which maybe hadn't been as visible to me before that happened.
Thanks, that's a beautiful story. Gosh. Anybody else? Do we have anybody? Yes, go ahead. Yes.
So I brought a picture of my dog, Ellie, with me, and we got Ellie when she was a puppy, and we, did a whole lot of work socializing her and making sure she had lots of dogs to play with. But about the time she turned a year, she said, "Nope. If you bring me near dogs, I am going to attack." And she taught me to accept her for what she is, and to not expect her to be somebody she is not. So that is. And it was said in there, don't pretend to be somebody you're not. And I learned that from Ellie, and I learned to love and accept her.
Thank you, Judy. We remember Ellie. Beautiful. Suzanne, did you have something? Sure. You could just stay.
Okay. No, it's fine. This is Dickens. I brought Dickens with me. And for those of you who know, I'm one of the founders of Reach Rescue Dog Adoption in Mundelein, and he came to us, an abused animal where he had been burned on his abdomen and his thighs and had to have some surgical procedures. But one of the things I learned from him is that he never let his injuries stop him from enjoying life. And he just learned to play and accept all of the loving and attention that he got. And as I was telling a few of you, he now feels that all of you have been put on the planet to love him and pet him. So if you come to my house, I have to warn you about a flying dog, because he will fly into your lap and then just sit there like, yes, please, go ahead and pet me.
Thank you, Suzanne. Is there anybody online, by the way, that would want to share? I think we have a bunch of people there. If you'd like to raise your hand, you may do so. I'll give you just a sec. I don't see anybody. So I would just say that from Bodhi, I learned to stop, slow down, be patient, and that he will not be ignored. Woof! Right, bud? You bet. All right. Woof, woof.